There's discomfort in breaking cycles. There's discomfort of being different. Now, there's comfort in being the same. And in the hood, when you realize everyone is the same, it's crazy. Like, if you really go to a hood right now, any hood in America, in the world, everybody doing the same thing.
Why do you think that most people from the hood are not able to do what you did?
Nobody wants to be the first one to say, I'm out of here. You want to know why? Because they got to deal with the scrutiny from everybody else there.
Why do you think so many people struggle for mental health?
It's because we live in the age of instant gratification.
It's one thing to be successful, but to empower others to be successful, now that's next level. And our next guest, Speedy Sheppard, is doing just that. He's a coach in every aspect of the word, but he didn't always have it easy. Coming from the projects, battling trials and tribulations, traumatic events, losing siblings to the streets, unfortunately, he elevated himself, worked hard on his personal development, and now is motivating others to do just that with his skills, his content, his influence, and his overall presence. Please welcome Speedy Sheppard. Peace and power.
Peace, my brother. Peace. I'm honored to be in front of greatness as well, man. Thank you for having me, man. And it's been a long time coming. I've been seeing your content over the years. I got to connect with this brother, man. We met in the most common spot and the things we do the best, man, and that's movement. You know what I mean? Movement of energy. And it was great, man. It was great meeting you, and I'm glad to be here, bro. Thank you for having me.
Indeed. And the pleasure and honor is all mine. And I tell you this from my mind and heart, my brother. You give me hope. You give me hope for the future. To see a young man like you, because, you know, I'm your OG, not just in age, but also someone who's been putting in work in the community and personal development as well. And to see this young warrior standing in front of me at his age, doing the big things that he's doing, and his heart is pure. It's pure, it's generous, and he has nothing but the righteous intentions for the people. So I'm honored, bro. You give me hope for the future. Thank you for being here.
People like you give me hope, brother. Like, in this community now, in this generation, more specifically, we don't have the OGs pouring into the youngins like that. You know, so to hear those words gives me hope too. Like, I look forward to meeting OGs because one thing I know, my energy is going to attract them and they're going to give me the game. So I'm just glad, and it's very refreshing to hear you speak and give to me like that because I'm willing to receive it. And now the greatest part about it all is that what you just gave me, I'm giving to the youth.
Beautiful.
And that's how we do it.
Indeed,
Yes,
indeed.
Yes, sir. So
you say in order to free you, you got to be you. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about that.
So in order to be yourself, you have to free yourself. So I just made that video recently, right? And the reason why I pinpointed that is because in this society, in this world, in this realm that we live in, right? A lot of people are living off in conjecture, right? So people don't really understand the effects of listening to other people, right? It can literally persuade or it could deter you off your route, right? So if you're on a route, right, and you know where you're going, right? You know your destination and you hear an opinion, right? What is an opinion? It's not really a fact. This is the perspective. You then identify with that opinion and now you're held prisoner. You're held captive by somebody else's opinion and now you're not free. If you're not free, you're not able to be, you know? And it's very important to free yourself of those chains of the opinions and other things that might hold you back, right? And if once you do that, you'll be able to fly freely and be yourself. So.
Yeah, I think that's so amazing that someone at your age is saying that, especially in the world of social media, where everybody's trying to be like everybody else, right? So I want to put that on one side, right? So you have the social media perspective, but then you're from the projects, you're from the hood, and how you speak and how you carry yourself, it's rare coming from that place. Right? So how were you able to be you and to free yourself from those two powerful forces. You got the hood, you got social media and other societal pressures. How were you able to be yourself amongst all of that?
So when I was young, I always just knew something was different. I knew something was off in my circumstances of where I grew up at, my environment, family structures, dynamics, et cetera, et cetera. And as a youngin', I just always took life as like, yo, I have to do something. I always knew since 3 years old, I always had the feeling in my soul that I was born to do something, and with that, obviously, you have to walk the road less traveled. So growing up, I was picked on, I was bullied, I was going through all these things due to my circumstances. I'm talking about like moms on drugs, pops on drugs, uncles on drugs, like broken family. So I'm the butt of everybody's jokes because, I'm living in a house with roaches. I'm going through all these things, right? And that creates some type of trauma. And through trauma, you learn a lot. Your growth is actually expedited. You actually grow up really quick. So in that, I realized real early that, I cannot care about what everybody else think if I really know that my purpose is bigger than all of this. There's something on the other side of this. And I always knew that. So one thing that I did to kind of like free myself of these things is I use outlets like sports. Football was one of them. Headphones saved my life. I have a video called Headphones Saved My Life. I'll show you it. And one thing that I did was when I walked through the hood, when I got to go to school, when I got to go to football practice, when I got to go other places, headphones is my blockage, right? When your outsides are messed up, your insides got to be positive. So I kept the music. I'm talking about Gangstar, all these type of great hip hop gurus that, give me, pun intended, that gave me that how I felt empowered every time I listened to Knife Wonder. And I listened to DJ Premier, and I listened to Alchemist, and I listened to Mobb Deep, and I listened to all these because it resonates. Like the vibration of that music gave me that championship, that champion feeling. Like I gotta win this. Rocky Balboa, like I had that type of that mixture, that combination. So with that music, it actually helped me gravitate towards the OGs because the OGs is playing the music. So with the combination of the OGs, I will always go and ask them questions. I will always go make sure I go up to the OGs and shake their hands. And the reason being is because I always knew they had some type of wisdom to give me. Because my spirit always said, I'm looking for a way out, right? My energy always said, this kid hungry. He wants something greater than what this is. So I will always make sure I go up to an OG like yourself. What's up, man? How you doing? Because I know you got something to give me. I know you got something. Just give it to me so I could use this pearl and take it on my journey, and that was one of many ways that I freed myself was, being alone, right? Being with my friends, of course, but being around the right people. Obviously, you learn through situations who to be with and who not to be with. And one thing that I realize is that, when in order to free yourself, you got to be yourself. So be yourself. Be yourself. You don't care about what anybody else think about you. It's hard at the beginning, but as you get older, you realize none of this matters. None of what they say matters. It's all about what you think and what you feel, and carry that and carry you through your journey in life.
Man, there's so much to unpack there.
Mm-hmm.
I want to start with at 3 years old, 4 years old, when you had that feeling. What sparked that? Do you know where that feeling came from? Was it a thought? Did you see something? Did you experience something? Like where did that come from? And the reason why I'm asking that question, besides the fact that it's part of your journey, I've learned from studying success that there's a lot of similarity in things. And that seems to be something that's in people, this desire for more, or understanding that there's more to life. So how was that spark ignited for you?
So I'm gonna be candid here. I come from, the parents on drugs era, right? My mom, my father, they grew up in the 80s, so they got hit by the crack pandemic, pandemic and all that stuff, epidemic. And in that, I know that I was born in that, right? And I don't know if it was the vibration before I was born. I don't know what it was, bro. Because I feel like I was supposed to be born in the 70s. That's where my soul lives at. When I was born, man, I just know, like, And I was born prematurely too. So I know I came out early because the world needed me. The world needed me now. It didn't need me 3 months later. It needed me now. And with that energy coming out of my mom's womb when I was born, I know that I ain't here to play games. And the reason why I'm saying that is because it's the reason why I take life so seriously. I take purpose so seriously. Ever since I was a kid, I always knew, like, I'm not here to play no games. I'm not here to play games. When you're a baby and you have the energy of the traumas that your mom had to endure, I'm talking about domestic violence, all that stuff, mom leaving the house, you know what I mean? She going to get her quick fix, you know what I mean? She going to get what she got to get because she's struggling. She going through things, right? I seen my mother struggle. I seen my father struggle. I seen everybody in my family go through crazy stuff. So in that, I'm just like, the more I seen at an early age, it just snapped. I don't know what it was. I can't even explain what it was. I just know that at 3 years old, I can literally remember me like knowing that, something wasn't right. Something just not right. And I took that vibration, I just carried it. I always remembered how I felt in those moments. And each traumatic instant in my life, I never forget, because what I'm doing is I'm making a great meal out of it, right? I'm turning that trauma into triumph. I know what it's gonna be. Because as I got older, I realized all of this is the makings of greatness. All of it. So I know it's needed. I know it's a necessity for a person like me and what I'm doing in my respective field. I needed all of it. Yeah. And I welcome it all. I still welcome it now. I don't hide from it. I know it's supposed to happen.
Yeah, I believe that it's our responsibility and opportunity to turn pain into progress. Mm-hmm. I want to take this time. We're going to get back to the interview, but I want to take this time to apologize to you. Mm-hmm. And the reason why I say that is because there was a time when I sold drugs. There was a time when I sold crack. Mm-hmm. And so whenever I meet anyone who cleaned themselves up, or is a byproduct of any dysfunction, I just for my karmic energy, not to sound, I hope that doesn't sound selfish, but just for my karmic energy and refinement, I just want to say that I apologize in any way for if I contributed in any way to that energy.
I appreciate that.
And I'm glad that you were able to persevere and conquer those traumatic situations.
Yo, it's crazy that you were able to do that, man. I commend you for that immensely, bro, because there's men that I shake their hands now that I'm older, and I know they had contributed to that. You know what I mean? You can feel the energy, and they know, based on how the handshake is, based on how the vibration is when we do shake hands. So just for you to say that, even though I know you didn't have anything to do with it, the point is that you were in that field during those times. So I know why you're doing that. And that right there, you just freed yourself from a lot of things. I just want you to know that.
Thank you so much.
And that's great. That's great to do, bro, because a lot of people don't know that you just moved the whole mountain doing that. On a bloodline level, I'm talking about like you freed your grandkids, you freed a lot of people for that.
Indeed.
In real time right now. Now.
Indeed, bro.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, no, bro. Thank you for understanding. Mm-hmm. I think that it's important for accountability, and accountability and also compassion. Buddhism is one of my favorite spiritual systems, and one of their main teachings is compassion. Mm-hmm. And I also want to tell people that the drug dealer is also a victim in their own way.
Yes, they are.
A victim of the same byproduct, and we could get into the whole how crack got in here, right? Mm-hmm. But we won't even go there for the sake of this conversation. Maybe another one. So, man, you got a lion heart, bro, because for you to bypass all those things and to dance at your own beat of your own heart, because as my brother Hakum, may Hakum rest in power, taught me, the heart is a drum. So you were dancing to your own rhythm of your heart when you put your headphones on and it aligned with the frequency of the music you were listening to, and you were able to block out those distractions, right? Why do you think that most people from the hood are not able to do what you did? a lot of us, because we all come from the hood, so I'm gonna say us, even though I didn't. Well, some things I did repeat. Tend to repeat the cycles, tend to repeat the trauma. And one of the, for lack of a better word, I'm gonna say pillars or principles of the Speedy brand is to break the traumatic cycle. Right? I'm paraphrasing, of course.
Mm-hmm.
So why do you think that so many people repeat the traumatic cycle?
There's many reasons, and I'm gonna just name one off the top. The reason why people they can't do it is because they don't want to be. They fear discomfort. There's discomfort in breaking cycles. There's discomfort of being different. Now, there's comfort in being the same. And in the hood, when you realize everyone is the same, it's crazy. Like if you really go to a hood right now, any hood in America, in the world, everybody doing the same thing. And the projects is a project, right? It's called the projects for a reason. It's a project. So
experiment.
In the projects, it's literally everyone standing on the corner, the same type of people, with the same type of values, with the same type of mindsets.
Many times the same income or
Crazy,
similar.
The crazy part is about them is that they all special in many ways, but nobody's trying to break the chain. Nobody wants to be the first one to say, I'm out of here. You want to know why? Because they got to deal with the scrutiny from everybody else there. So if you got 10 people in the group and you got one person in that saying, yo, they're itching. They're like, I want to get out of here bad, but I just don't want them to be disappointed. They will literally stay there their whole life regretting not leaving because it was comfort, one, and they cared too much about the opinions of others. And me, I didn't care about the opinions of others. And I was good with being uncomfortable because my whole life I've been uncomfortable. My whole life. The trauma made me uncomfortable. The crazy things that I've saw, I'm telling you, like, it was crazy. And it made me comfortable with being uncomfortable, which I was okay with at an early age. And that's why at 18, I left I left. I got up out of there. I'm like, I'm getting up out of here. I'm going to school. I went to school in Connecticut. And although it was hard to do, it was difficult because remember, we understand that, familiarity breeds contentment. I was content, but I knew deep down inside it was bigger than me. I had to do something different. So that's that's many reasons why people, from the hood, they can't get out because they care too much what people think. And then on top of that, they don't know what to do once they're in a zone that's unknown.
It's interesting. And in my book, and I'm not trying to selfish plug, right? In my book, I have a chapter where I talk about, like, I grew up around some gangsters,
Mm-hmm.
like literally killers.
Mm-hmm.
And I would never dry snitch, but literally killers.
Right.
But I saw that they would be afraid to do things like go get a job outside of whatever's comfortable, or go to a different community and they may have to make some adjustments. And I'm like, man, you a killer, but you're afraid to fill out an application? Yeah. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's just interesting how you said that. And I'm like, wow, it just, to me, proves your point about the sameness of all the hoods and the personalities and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And you were even homeless at one time.
Yep.
Talk about that.
One was by choice. The first time was by choice. The second time was through hard times. And I'm gonna explain the second time first. I'm gonna explain the first time second. So the second time I was home, it was just due to just going through struggles, man. I didn't have what I had, and it was hard times, and that took me to a journey to move to Boston. I moved to Boston. My brother, shout out to my brother Duran. That is my brother for life, man. Me and him knew each other. He actually inspired me to get into what I do now in regards of videography and photography.
Shout out to Duran.
He's the best in Boston. I don't care what nobody say. And I'm not saying it just because my boy, he's the best in Boston. There's a lot of people who revere him in his respective field. So shout out to my brother. He opened his doors up to me. And in that time when I was up there, I met amazing people. It was just a different energy up there. I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot about more people. This is 2 years ago. This happened 2 years ago. That was the second time. Now, the first time by choice was, the first time was more so, I knew that spiritually that I needed to elevate. So when I moved out of my grandfather's apartment in the projects, because when I came home from college, I would go to my grandfather's house. He lived there, but I was there, but I wasn't there. You get what I'm saying? When he moved out of his apartment, he was sick. He left me at his apartment, and I was there by myself. I did a lot of spiritual work. I did a lot of personal development. I got into a lot of spiritual upheaval type of practices, and I did that. And in that, I'm like, you know what? There's a lot of things that I still have to do in this world, you know. And I went out to California where my uncle, I got a family out there. I got my uncle out there. I stayed with him for a little while.
Don't lose your thought. What part?
Sacramento.
Okay.
Sacramento.
I used to live in San Diego.
That's what's up.
Chula Vista. Yeah.
Yes, sir. I was out there. I was staying out there for a little bit. Then I came back home. I came back home on a train. I took the train from Cali to Jersey. It was one of the greatest experiences in my life. I'm telling you, and I got the book The Alchemist with me. You know, I bought that book.
Fire.
That's one of the books that really helped me with a lot of things. Another book called The Celestine Prophecy.
Fire.
Yeah, that book
The
helped me a
movie
lot.
too.
Yeah, the movie is great. Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill.
Fire.
Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Fire.
48 Laws of Power. All those
Fire.
books. I was reading a lot of those type of books throughout my journey. And while I was on that train, I was meeting great people. I'm talking about, I'm talking to people. They getting to know me. And there's this brother named Jordan. He's from Colorado. And he was telling me what he wanted to do in his life. And I was giving him some type of game. This is when I knew I was meant to do this, what I do now. Talking to him, and all I'm doing is giving him wisdom. I'm giving him some type of input or some type of perspective. He cried to me. He cried to me on the train. He was like, yo, bro, thank you, man, because it's certain things I want to do, but I don't know how to go about it. His brother's older than me. Don't know him. He don't know me, but for me to give him that and for him to show his emotions like that and tell me thank you, I was like, wow, I was born to do this. So I'm coming back from Cali, get to Jersey. I'm staying with my mom. I'm staying in her car. I'm staying in my car. I'm going through this for like a year, just doing it. But I'm doing it because I understand that being comfortable can get you in certain situations. So I'm trying to remain uncomfortable, and I'm also learning about myself. I'm learning about life. I'm learning about people. And that's where the enhancement of me knowing about people and human nature happened. Like I understood. Everything just, the eureka moments just started pouring in. I stood at my boy's house. I stood on his couch. I stood at my aunt's house. I was bouncing house to house, couch to couch. But in those, I'm learning about different people. I'm learning about different cultures. I'm learning about how people handle certain things. So I'm just gathering all these things, and I'm like, oh, I get it. This is what life is about. This is what it's about. This is what it's about right here. And I think each and every person that opened up their doors for me to stay with them at the times that I had to stay with them, you know, because they didn't have to do that. But like you said, they saw something in me that was beyond just my circumstance at the moment. Granted, I was working, I was doing what I had to do. I just didn't have no crib. My crib was within. My home was within myself. So that's what carried me through. And then I ended up finding an apartment. I ended up getting myself right on that level. And then that's when things started to happen. And I started realizing like, yo, this is where I belong. Like I am a coach. I became a substitute teacher. I started just doing a lot of more things. And that was that, man. That was a crazy journey though.
You know, the divinity in all of it. Like the fact that you went to Cali and it was on a train back where you had that conversation?
I had that conversation. I had many of them, but that was the highlight conversation right there.
Wow. You know, from a bird's eye view, I'm looking at it. You just living your life, doing what you need to do. And I'm like, man, you were at the perfect place at the perfect time, reading the most important information, and you met the right person that really affirmed this was your purpose.
Yeah.
And now because of that moment in time, we, the world, get to benefit from your clarity and you taking action of what you discovered that day. And what I always say, what I learned are the two most important days of your life, when you were born and when you discover why you were born. So just the divinity of all of that.
Mm-hmm.
What did you learn? And I know you learned a lot of things. You've been reading books, but in terms of that struggle, what would you say was the most important thing you learned about yourself and human nature? Because you said you were learning. It was almost like, so you went to college, and now this is the school of hard knocks per se, right?
Yeah.
So what would you say you learned about yourself, right? I know there's a lot, but the most important thing, and about human nature, which you specified as well.
So, and this is something that I learned about myself first and foremost. Like, my journey is my journey. And when I say that, I mean this. Like, everyone's gonna go through what they're gonna go through, right? And what I went through was, and I'm still going through it. Life is a lifelong going through something. That's what it is. Mm-hmm. You ain't never gonna get out of it.
It's a continuum.
It's a continuum, man. And what I learned is that if you put the energy out there, if you send that request to the universe of what you want, you're gonna get it. My aptitude for knowledge was endless already since I was a kid, right? My aptitude for knowledge led me in those positions. I wanted that knowledge. I wanted those people to meet. I wanted to be a vocal point and a focal point in people's life. I wanted to be that positive point of reference. I knew it since I was a kid. I just didn't know when it was going to happen. I didn't know it. Actually, in hindsight, my coach, Coach D, I don't know if I can call him right now, but Coach D from high school, he was my high school coach. And what he did was he created something called the Coaches Award. My senior year, I was a captain at Passaic High School, right? And this is when I didn't really realize it until like a few years ago. Like, I was really born to be a coach. He awarded me the Coaches Award in high school. I'm 18, I'm 17 years old. I'm a player though. And he gave everybody the awards. He announced, oh yeah, we got a special award here. It's called the Coaches Award. And then he announced my name and he gave me that award. I still got it to this day.
You were receiving Coaches Awards before you had the official title.
Crazy.
So you were already coaching.
Crazy.
Amazing.
I'm telling you, when I had that moment to myself, when I'm looking at the award, and I'm like, wow, I'm a coach. I'm a coach right now. But hindsight is 2020. You don't know what field you're in at those times, especially when you're young. Everything's happening so fast. You're not as conscious and present as you would be now as an adult. But I didn't really realize it until then. And then, like I said, like when you send that, I was sending those deposits out in the universe already. Back then, my leadership, my seriousness about life, and being positive and being successful. I already had that when I was a kid. I was already putting those deposits out in the universe. And then it happened on that train ride when I realized I've arrived.
Do you believe in destiny or fate? And if so, why?
Yeah, I do. We're definitely all destined for certain things in our lives. There's reasons why your name is True Power Speaks, right?
True Speaks Power.
True Speaks Power, right? There's a reason why you named yourself that. Aside from the person that you operate in, like True Speaks Power, right? Is the manager of the person, right? That's who you manage. You identify with True Speaks Power because that's what you do.
And it's interesting you brought that example up because what I was thinking about while you were speaking was just that, which made me ask the question. And I'm gonna tell you why. When you were young, you were sending deposits to the universe, right? About the person that you manifested yourself to be, yes, and being,
yes, and
still manifesting. I wasn't conscious enough to do that on a conscious level. But hindsight, bird's eye view, reflecting back, I realized I was being bred and trained for what I do now without knowing. Just to give you an example, one thing that comes up as a compliment for me, and I'm humbled by it, man, True, we love the way you speak. You speak with so much passion, right? But it's two things. Number one, I truly believe in what I speak about. If I don't really know it, and if I really don't believe in it, I'm not going to speak in it just to sell something.
That's right.
I don't get down like that.
Right.
The other thing is, I used to be a poet and an MC. So that was sort of a breeding training ground for the way I speak now.
Yeah.
So the passion and emphasis. I've also have taken some speaking courses.
Yep.
You know, I took the speakers boot camp. I took what's the other one? I can't think of it. I learned it from watching the Les Brown motivational speaking. Forgive me. I don't remember the other one. Toastmasters.
Yeah. Got you. Yeah, I know about that.
I've been trained by Toastmasters, so I've also have done that. But I would say the training ground for me was really being an MC and a poet.
I had the Les Brown one too, so I understand exactly.
Indeed. So that's why I asked you, because see, you were conscious enough to put the deposits in the universe. I was sort of just manifesting without consciousness. You know what I mean? So
that's
sometimes
your deposits, though.
It's
beyond the conscious mind, right? Like, it's all spiritual. Your energy already, regardless of what you was doing back then, spiritually on a level unseen, you was already putting the deposits out. You might not realize it, but that's what you were doing. It's certain things we do, we can't even realize why are we doing this? Why did I do that? Why did I do that? You don't know why you did it, but you did it. Source called you to do that.
Indeed. You know, and again, right, about these divine moments. So I read the autobiography of Malcolm X when I was in 7th grade.
One of the greatest books ever.
Indeed. And you know how? I got punished. When I got sent to Cali because I wasn't behaving in Jersey. So I got sent over there to get my act together. Wow. And then eventually I acted up over there and got sent back.
Wow.
But my love for reading came from a beautiful woman named Lupe. Lupe, thank you so much. Who, as a punishment, sent me to my room and was like, yo, you got to read books. And so at the time I wasn't reading, but I fell in love with reading. And one of the books she gave me was the autobiography of Malcolm X. Now, at the time, I didn't know I would get Malcolm tattooed on my arm. I didn't know I would name my son Malcolm, my son's name. So it's interesting how life manifests itself.
And just to piggyback off what you said about destiny, right? Mm-hmm. Truth speaks power. That's who you go by.
Indeed,
right?
That's right.
Speedy is who I go by. Now, I'm going to tell you why this is crazy. Like I told you, when I was growing up in my environment, football was my outlet. I used these to get me out the hood, my feet. I was known for being fast, right? So I used every bit of trauma, every bit of pain that I ever went through, and I put it on the football field. I created it. I just created wherever I went on the football field. I didn't care what I did. I want to work hard. I don't want to be home all day. I want to be here putting in work. The deposit is going to be seen by the Most High somewhere. I know it is. I'm going to just keep on doing. I'm going to stay consistent. I could have NFL dreams. I know I might not go, but I'm going to do that. That alone is going to get me further than where I am now. I know it is. So I push myself that much to get recruited to go to school in Connecticut, to play 4 years of football, right? To play 4 years of, and also graduate, got my bachelor's degree, sport management, did what I did. In college, that's where the name Speedy came. So P-E-D-Y, like Speedy without the S, was my name growing up. When I got to college, shout out to my brother Chris Legale, he would call me Speedy Petey. I'm like, what's up? Like, he reckoned, because I got to practice against him. He was the starting linebacker. So I'm running against him every day. He's the record holder for my school in regards of tackles. Like, he led the whole entire school. He made history. I got to go against him every day. He got to chase me around. And he called me that. It's a compliment right there. So I'm like, you know what? Speedy and Petey is almost the same, so just call me Speedy. And that's where the name came from. You know what I mean? That's how the name just stuck with me, and now I'm known as that. People still call me by my nickname and everything like that, like when I was younger from the hood, but they know me as Speedy now too. But that's how you see what I'm saying? Like,
right.
Right?
Now you got the Speedy Tribe. I want you to flex a little bit, man. Talk about some of your accolades, man, in the athletic world, because I want them to know you didn't just play football. Man, you getting awards and trophies, and you're still getting awards and trophies, which is wild to me. Talk about that. Let's flex a little bit.
I mean, what did you see recently? I don't know what you saw.
I saw you holding up some type of plaque or something like that that you just won.
That was so. I'm a coach now, right? It's funny. I'm a coach now. This is my first year just passed. This is my second year. Now I'm going into coaching. But my first year of coaching, I coach football and I coach track and field. The medals that you saw and the awards that you saw was from a track meet that I ran in the summer called the New York Speed Series. Is New York Road Runners, they host that. And I ran also in another track meet with Lisa Morgan. She's a known coach in JIT. She's at Vanderbilt right now. She hosted it. When I was coaching these kids this spring, man, it was something in me saying like, all right, I'm young, but I'm older. And the greatness that they exuded and they displayed this season just gave me that urge again to get back on the track. So I took myself through the 6-week workout program like I used to do when I was in college and stuff. And I said, I want to compete, but I want to compete at the people with my age now. I want to do that now. So I got into it. I ran a few track meets. I got a few medals. And the one you saw me with the plaques and stuff, that's the one in New York at Randall's Island. That's where Usain Bolt and all of them other dudes ran. They ran there before. So I'm there. I'm doing a long jump. I'm doing the 200. I'm running. And I came in first place in the long jump for my age group, though. My age group. And I came in second place for the 200-meter dash. And I'm like, wait, I'm running almost the same times I was running in high school. So I'm like, I'm not bad, man. It's not bad. So I'm still doing that. I'm staying active. And this brings me to this. That's how we met, right? Being active, right? Movement is everything, bro. Movement is everything. And one key to being speedy, right? To being me and to just being part of the Speedy Tribe is movement. Movement in every aspect of the word. Take care of your health. Take care of your wellness. Take care of your spirit. Take care of your mind. Take care of all those good things. And to enjoy the life that you want to live, you got to be physically good. You got to be good no matter what.
I want you to expound on that, but before, right, I want you to notice, check out the cycle. You see how you told me the students that you were coaching inspired you?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Younger, right?
Yeah.
Inspired you. So brothers like yourself that I work out with inspire me to keep going. Because I feel like, us men, we're competitive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
little egotistical.
yeah, of course. And I think it's healthy.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going against you. I'm actually going against myself, but being inspired by your presence.
That's right.
Right? So I get that, because when I see young brothers like yourself at the bar doing the amazing things that you do, it inspires me to continue moving and like stay in tune, stay up to par.
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely get that cycle.
Brother, man, that's everything, man. It's good to, because men, we get better by struggling.
Indeed.
It reminds me of Dragon Ball Z, Goku, right? Like Saiyans, like they get better throughout the fight.
Mm-hmm.
Men get better throughout the fight in life.
One of my favorite African proverbs: smooth seas does not make a good sailor. It's an African proverb, one of my favorite. And I remind myself of that when things are going turbulent, when things are going rough.
That's powerful,
Indeed.
man. Yeah, man.
So one of our pillars at Raw Success is wellness.
Okay.
And you mentioned the importance of being physically fit and how that coincides and is aligned with spirit and so forth. Can you, and that's also part of the Speedy brand. Mm-hmm. Can you expound on the importance of well-being?
There's people in the world, right, who think because they are a servant to others that they're well. Not saying that's one part of being well, but wellness as a whole is taking care of yourself, pouring into yourself as well as you pour into others. A lot of us tend to think that if we just working, if we just making money, if we just eat good food, that's wellness. It's not wellness, Sometimes we overstimulate ourselves with good things, and we don't know how to detach from things. A part of wellness is detaching from the good things, right? Because what it does is it creates it creates a balance within yourself. Too much of anything makes you an addict, right? I think about the Nice and Smooth song. Sometimes I rhyme slow, right? Like that's my joint right there. And
I'm impressed.
Yeah.
I just want to say I'm impressed.
Yeah. Oh, I'm on game, man. I know what's up. So
I'm impressed.
That right there, like every time I hear that song, I think about that, because wellness overall, I'm talking about on the level of reading, I'm talking about a level of speaking to people. And human interaction is great. There's people who suffer from social anxiety, they can't interact like this. That can that can stump their wellness because they don't know how to interact in these spaces. It's going to be a time in someone's life that they need to do this right now. They need to do this. There's going to be a time in their life where somebody needs to read something and understand the fine print of what they're reading. There's going to be a time in life where there's going to be trials and tribulations happening, and you need spiritual upheaval. And you need a source to connect to, and you don't know how to do that. There's going to be times in life where you might know someone who has some type of illness and are suffering, and they might need to reverse that, or they might need to help out with that. You got to do all those things to cultivate your wellness. You have to fast. You have to learn the importance of fasting. Detoxifying was within your body, getting rid of inflammation and things like that. Your practices got to be serious on all levels, whether it's on the physical, spiritual, mental. All those things got to be intertwined in one.
Yeah, and I think, right, for me, the best teacher is life, right? And I know you know that very well, because if you look at how we're designed, the answer's all there. So if you don't work out, the body gets weak. It's letting you know, bro, you got to move, right? You know what I'm saying? If you don't use it, you
lose it,
right? These little phrases have wisdom in it. And so it just points to like the answers are all there. Why do you think so many people struggle for mental health? Mental health issues in this day and time.
This right here.
For our listeners on streaming platforms, he's pointing at his phone.
This right here. This created so much mental health issues because we live in the age of Instagram, instant gratification. The words are the same, almost. So when you look at this device every day and you're scrolling, you're looking at highlights. I commend the brothers and the sisters that's on social media showing their losses too. That is the greatest thing, and that is the greatest balance in social media when people show their wins and losses. When you have people living a superficial life, only showing their highlights, that's where the watchers and the consumers of that content, they start suffering and start questioning their own existence. And that creates the mental health issues, creates the depression, creates the suicidal thoughts. All those things happen because my life is not I'm not where I want to be in my life, and I'm looking at you win, which makes me think I'm losing. And in that, right, every day, and then like, you know how it's crazy when the algorithm sees that you're looking at that type of content, is going to push more of that. So in your dwindling of your losing, you'll keep thinking, I'm really not doing nothing with my life. You 22 years old, and you thinking that, and you're feeding yourself that narrative, and you become that narrative, and then the content doesn't help because the algorithm already know, oh, you watch this, so I'm going to feed you that. It's in sync with you.
Almost feeding the destructive cycle.
It is, though. And what happens is a person would die by suicide because they felt like they wasn't good enough. 22, they ain't get enough likes. They ain't get those views that they wanted. You know, they'll just put themselves in those boxes, right? And that creates an unhealthy mindset. And I always tell people out here, man, like, that's why I made the video. Be yourself so you can free yourself. Free yourself so you can be yourself. Like, you have to do these things because if you're in the confinement of this, man, it's over. If you live by this, you will die by this.
You know, I think it's so dope that you're saying that because I want you to tell people, how old are you?
29.
Okay. Because when I say it, I sound like an old head who don't know who he's talking about. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But when you grew up in this era and you're saying the same thing.
Yeah.
I want to get to
Wait, before you even go, I'm not exempt from this because I'm on this every day too. It's all about being aware of it. That's the part where people get lost. Being conscious enough to know that, what am I using this device for? Am I using this as detriment or as benefit? Am I doing business? Am I putting positivity in this? What am I doing? Because on the other side of it, the people that are showing their highlights in life, they might think that's a positive thing on their end. But the person consuming it who's not living that life might think it's a negative thing. So it gets real tricky with this because this is a satellite. It's gonna reach you. It's gonna reach you. So I just wanted to say that real quick.
Indeed. No, I appreciate that. I want to get to one of the questions of our audience.
Okay.
She has 2 young sons, and she's struggling with getting through to them. And one thing that she noticed is that a lot of young people, she didn't specify what age, a lot of young people tend to think like they know everything. And she researched you. I told people, yo, I'm interviewing them, research them, check them out. And she saw, oh, he works with young people.
Mm-hmm.
She wanted to know, did you notice that? Number 1. And 2, how do you get through to the young people to have them receive your positive message?
When she said, did I see what does she mean by that?
Oh, do you see that young people tend to be dismissive and think that they know it all?
Yes.
And how do you get through to them eventually?
Yes. So, yes, there's young people who think they know it all right now. I was one of them at one point in my life, but I realized quick that I ain't supposed to do that. It's all about being aware. Like I just told you, it's all about awareness of self, right? If you know that you don't know, don't act like you know. So what I'm saying is these young kids nowadays, because of the fact that the OGs are not as hands-on as they used to be, who's there to teach them? Who's there to Mr. Miyagi them, right? Who's there to be that positive point of reference and that reference that they could be like, oh, all right, if OG saying this, then I know I ain't right. One way that I get through to the kids now, because I coach kids, right? So I meet them where they are. You got to meet people where they are. Because of the fact that they think they know it all, they're not going to listen to you. If you come with that energy of you don't know things and I know things only. Because I'm learning from these kids too. And that's where we get lost. Like the OGs are lost and the kids are lost because the OGs think they know more and the kids think they know more. And the OGs don't take it as, yo, I can learn from this youngin' too. I'm learning from all the kids that I coach. The girls, the boys, I'm like, oh wow, like that's new. I didn't know that. I didn't know that when I was a kid. So if you could teach me something, I'm gonna listen to you. I don't care who you are. And the thing is, these youngins just want to be heard too. Just like we wanted to be heard. If you sit down and really talk to these young kids, I'm telling you, they're going to give you some game. And then once you create that rapport with them, they're going to listen to you forever. But you got to be able, just like they're able to be coachable, you got to be coachable too.
So from a parent perspective, and obviously you're not a mom, right?
Yeah.
You're not a woman, you're not a mom. There's a whole different world. What advice would you offer?
Understand them more. Like, diligently do the work to understand. How many is it?
2.
2 boys?
2 boys.
So there's a dynamic right there. There's the difference. So obviously women can only raise men to a certain point. Because once young boys become that of age, now it's time for the fathers to step in. I would recommend putting them around more men. That's one. Because you have to understand that there's a different energy at hand that you're dealing with.
Don't lose your thought. It's interesting you say that. I told her, yo, bring them to the workout.
Yeah. Why not? Bring them to the workout. Bring them to the workout. Surround them around more masculine energy so they can understand that that's where they belong. That's one. 2, take time to understand men. Because when you understand men, you understand your sons. Because men come from being a boy, right? We were boys at once. And if you understand that, then you'll understand that men need to go through things. Young boys need to go through things. They got to bump their heads. They got to go through things because that's their best way of learning. Whether or not you want to you can't coddle them. Men are meant to endure hardship because we gotta go to war every day. We gotta go to war every day. So if you understand that and you give them more grace to be young boys and men, they'll thank you immensely.
Interesting you mentioned the word grace because another question that we got is, so they know you went through some traumatic things and they wanted to know, what's your view on your parents? Because, a lot of people blame their parents for their messed up lives.
I'm glad you asking this question, bro.
What's your perspective on that?
Man, my mom and my father are my heart. I love my mother. I love my father. I honor them so much, regardless of characteristics that they may have. That we all got parents that are, come on, mom, come on, pops, like what y'all on, like what y'all doing. But the overall understanding of this whole thing is that my mother and my father did what they could do at the times that they did it. My mom didn't have her father around. My father didn't have his father around. Right? I seen that there was a cycle. That's one of the reasons why I took life so seriously, because I would ask my grandparents, I would ask my mom and them questions when I was a kid to try to understand where I'm coming from. Where do I come from? How was my grandfather? How was my grandmother? How was my mother when she was a kid? What did my father have to go through? What are all these things that they had to go through? Because what they had to go through is instilled in me. I always tell people I'm the on-time version of my parents. At some point, before their conception of conceiving me, before my conception, my mom and my father wanted certain things in life. They daydreamed about being great. They daydreamed about being rich. They daydreamed about being advocates for the youth. They daydreamed about wanting to do great things in the world. I was born. Maybe they couldn't do it, or maybe they did do it. And the reason why they did do it is because it's me doing it. I literally come from both of them. They're an extension of me. I'm an extension of them. So I represent my parents, and I love my parents. I love all my family, man, regardless of whatever happened. I did a lot of inner work on forgiving my parents. I did a lot of it. I did a lot. I still do it now. Actively right now, as I say these words right now, I am still doing the work. It doesn't end, because there's always going to be interactions between them that can spark that up again, or even thoughts that can spark that up again. And then you're going down that road of feeling that way of what you felt when you was a kid, and feeling like, I hate this stuff. I hate this stuff. I hate this. I don't like this. I don't like that. But I understand that. I'm going to say this, and this is real deep. If someone started doing drugs at 16 and at 56 years old, they decided to go clean, how old are they? 16. I'm going to tell you why. Because from 16 to 56, their development was arrested. So when I see addicts, adults that are starting their lives at those ages, I know that they're the age of where their arrested development happened. When did the arrest happen? At 16? At 17? At 20? I know that you're just starting out now, which is why you have to give the older people grace too, because they don't really be knowing. They don't know. Just like they didn't know when they conceived you, they still don't be knowing, because after they conceived you, they had to figure everything out on the fly. Still is now. I give my mother grace. I give my pops grace, no matter what.
And my book is called The Power of Choice. So I'm very conscious about choice, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what I will say is we also have to give, especially that generation, grace, because we got to understand how drugs came into our community.
Yes.
They didn't know the effects of it. Well, I'm talking about the people using.
Yeah.
Didn't know the effects of it and how it would tear up the black and brown community. They weren't conscious of the ill effects of crack cocaine. They were just using to have fun.
Mm-hmm.
And it just sucked them in.
Mm-hmm.
And
also to deal with the loss of parents. Because remember the 70s too, Vietnam, all those things happened in the late 60s, early 70s and stuff like that. So fathers leaving the household, and a single parent household started. Now they grown up without the fathers.
And we got to mention how they gave incentives to women to perks, government perks and whatnot when the man wasn't present.
Listen,
so there was an incentive.
You know the movie Claudine?
Let's get it.
Come on, the movie Claudine, Mr. Welfare Man.
Let's get it.
You know what's up? Welfare system came and took over. They substituted as a father. They were the fathers in the household, bro. And in that, now is a dependency on it. It's an unhealthy dependency too. Because when the father come back, you can't even recognize him. It's like you looking at him like, what you doing here? This is the mom talking to the father. You don't need to be here. I'm good on my own. Are you really? That's the narrative they feed you though.
Right. And they weren't aware of the byproducts of not having a intact, well-balanced home.
The nucleus was
the
ripped
masculine
apart.
and the feminine. Everything has a masculine and feminine.
Yes, it
so
does.
you need it inside the home.
Yeah, brother. Listen.
You know,
man.
I love the fact that you always praise the village. And I'm going to tell you why. Here's another one of my favorite African proverbs. I am because we are because I am. And that's important to me. And I always say, you'll never hear me say I'm self-made because I'm not self-made. I just mentioned somebody earlier named Lupe who introduced me to the book, The Autobiography of Malcolm X.
Mm-hmm.
I had too many people who contributed to me. Now, obviously, I put in work.
Yeah.
I had to read the book myself. I totally get that there was a responsibility on my end to put in the work.
Mm-hmm.
But there was so many people involved in the manifestation of truth, in the success of truth, that I could never call myself self-made. So I love the fact that you always give credit to the village.
Always. Crazy part about it all is that the projects that I grew in is called Spirit Village. Spirit Village, bro. I was raised by the village, literally. Like, they saw my family going through what they was going through, my aunts, my friends, their parents. Whenever they opened up their doors to me. That's how I understood families at an early age. I understood the importance of family because I saw my boys with their fathers in their lives. Some of them didn't have their fathers in their lives. So I seen different cultures, Spanish. I saw Puerto Ricans, Dominicans. I saw blacks. I saw a lot of different culture structures. And I'm like, oh, that's how they rock. All right. And they open up and they look at me as their son. I got many people that gave me a lot of game growing up, man, that contributed to what I am. Who I am today is the village, bro. That's what I am.
Bro, your antenna is up. It is up. I don't know if we answered this question. So you answered the question about what you learned about yourself. Did you answer the question earlier about what you learned about human dynamics?
No, I didn't.
When you were homeless?
When I was on that journey, right? The human dynamic, like the things that I learned about humans, man, is that one thing, the most powerful thing is that we all need each other. Every human need each other. Everybody need to meet somebody. There's somebody in the world waiting to meet you with your gift. The gift that you hold right now, true, somebody's waiting to meet you with that and to receive that. And you're waiting to give it to them. You get what I'm saying? We all need someone to be that igniting of energy. That's what we need. We need someone to remind us. Sometimes we just need to be reminded. Everybody around me serves as a reminder of what I am and what I'm supposed to do.
Bro.
Everybody that I meet, every hand that I shake, the genuine energy that I feel when I shake somebody's hand, and when they receive my handshake, they're like, wow, man, your energy is great. It reminds me of what I am. Thank you for that.
And it's so important because this is why we need to be ourselves.
Yes.
Because it's you in your unique way, because of your unique circumstance, that creates this energy that I need in this moment.
Likewise.
Ashe.
Yes, sir.
Let's talk about the Speedy brand and
Speedy Tribe.
Excuse me, I apologize. The Speedy Tribe and the different aspects. So you got breaking traumatic, and let's talk about the do you call it principles or
these are the principles. Yes.
Okay.
Those are the principles.
Let's speak about each one.
So like, first and foremost, breaking those generational traumas, breaking those cycles is very important. I teach the youth about that a lot because, like I told you, the youth, all they're doing is replicating what they see. They happen to do it all the time, and we know in that replication is trauma, is toxicity, is all those things in one. I come from that. I literally lived in it, and I always teach them like, yo, you got to reverse engineer this whole thing. You got to unlearn and relearn. You have to go out your way to say, I don't want this, but I want this. This is beneficial. I don't want things that serve as detriment to me. I don't want it. Because what it's going to do is going to set me back. But not only me, my bloodline. I'm going to have grandkids one day. My grandkids going to have grandkids one day. If I don't change right now where I am in this earth, if I don't reverse engineer it for the benefit of my bloodline, they all going to do the same thing I did. So I knew that. I know these things now. So I'm teaching these kids, yo, change your mindset on life. Find your purpose. Look for it. You're not going to find it right away. I'm telling you right now. Everybody find their purposes at different points of life. I met an OG. He found his purpose at 60 years old. I'm like, yo, that's amazing. And he's telling me his story about it. So I tell people, always look to break those traumatic, no matter what, look to break that. Another thing, well, actually, I actually did too. I did the breaking
and the
purpose thing.
Before you move on to the next one, I have to ask this because so many people, because I'm clear on what my purpose is. Nipsey Hussle's, I love it. He has a line says, I'm clear on why, something like, I'm clear why I'm here. How about you? You know what I'm saying? Or why, what about you? Something like that. Super dope. And I'm like, yo, I'm clear, Nipsey.
Yeah.
A lot of people, though, are not clear on what their purpose is. And they come to me pleading because they know I'm clear.
Yeah.
Pleading, how do I find my purpose? So, Speedy, how does someone find their purpose? It's one of your principles for the Speedy Tribe.
Yeah.
How does someone find their purpose?
The way people could find their purpose is by living on purpose. What I mean by that is being intentional. Every move gotta be with intent. You can't just be doing things without intent. You gotta move. You gotta do, and you gotta do with the fact knowing, like, yo, I'm doing this because of. Not just because. No, because of this reason. Chess, not checkers. You gotta know that I'm making this move in order for this move to be made.
I always say do things for a cause, not just because.
Right. And one thing that, I've done to find my purpose, or I could tell people to do, is live and go out and experience things. The more it resonates, the more you're closer to your purpose. Meet people, see what you like doing. If you could do it for free, do it, and you found your purpose. Don't put a price on your purpose.
Yeah, one thing that I add on for those that's listening is if you don't have a purpose, what the basic standard is just be the best version of yourself in every moment.
Yeah.
That's your purpose. So for everybody that's listening, if you don't have a purpose, right? Your purpose is just to be the best version of yourself in this moment. That's your purpose. Another principle that the Speedy Tribe upholds is breaking barriers. That's so powerful. Talk about breaking, which you have, bro. You come from the projects, so you definitely know about breaking barriers. Speak more about that.
So my thing, man, breaking barriers, right? Like being a brown man, right? Being who I am, being from those environments. There's stereotypes that we're put in, right? They stereotype us based on how we look. They stereotype us based on where we come from. So all we got to do is just be different from that. Remember, I told you when I was young, I knew I was born to be different. So I'm going to do everything different. I'm going to be the black sheep. I'm going to be the standout. I'm going to do those things. I don't care what you think. Might have cared when I was a kid. I probably cried about it and all that stuff. But then I realized in those moments, they doing this because I'm different. They picking on me about my circumstance because I'm different. I'm going to use this as fuel, though. I tell you that. I'm going to do that. And I'm going to outwork everybody. I'm going to do what I got to do to get up out of here. It ain't nobody else's business but mine. I'm breaking down barriers like that. I'm shaking hands with all different types of people. I'm networking. I'm doing all types of things. You break barriers like that. Because statistically speaking, we ain't supposed to be here. We ain't supposed to be doing this. But somewhere along the line, someone else broke a barrier for us to do this right now. Somebody broke the barrier down to get in the podcast game to do this right now. Your podcast is booming. My podcast is booming. We booming in all levels. We doing what we got to do. So I'm taking what they did and what we doing, and we gonna just take this next level now. Now we just gonna do. Now we breaking down the house. We doing everything. We breaking down the doors. Because at the end of the day, like I said, when we come from, we ain't supposed to do this. The barrier is already broken because we doing it.
Indeed, bro. I feel you. Like, one of the things that motivates me, bro, is just my mother. My mother came here from a third world country, worked at a factory. You know what I'm saying? I gave her a whole bunch of problems and headaches. You know what I mean? But just the mere fact that my mother just kept on, keep it on. Like, you know, she didn't give up on life. And she's when people give me a compliment about my hard work, I say, you know where I learned that from? Dominican.
All right.
Yeah.
100%?
Yeah.
That's what's up, bro.
Yeah. I learned that from my mother, brother.
Shout out to DR, man.
Yeah, que lo que.
Yeah, yes, sir. Que lo que.
Yeah, bro. My mother is the hardest working person. I've seen this woman work double shifts, 7 days straight. Wow. You know, I would ask for things. I'll get it for you. Go downtown, put it on layaway. Y'all young people don't really know about layaway. You know what I mean? So there's so much. She didn't really like teach me like books type stuff, right? But she taught me about her struggles and what she represents.
Yeah.
So
shout out to my Dukes, man.
Broke barriers, came here by herself.
Wow.
You know what I mean? She got mad sisters and brothers. She here by herself. Can't speak the language, none of that. You get what I'm saying? And then she got a crazy child like me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Bringing her headaches. So that's definitely dope, man.
Wow.
I know you're well read. You mentioned some powerful books. By the way, we have links for those books. If you want to purchase those books, we will have the links in the description.
Yes, sir.
What is the most important, most impactful book that you've read?
Celestine Prophecy. The Celestine Prophecy was the book that gave me because I read it. Shout out to my brother Raekwon. He gave me the book when I was a sophomore in college. I read that book and I was like, yo, what the hell is this? He was already on some type of level that I wasn't on yet. I wasn't ready. Put the book down. Picked the book back up 4 years later. 4 years later, I was like, understanding the importance of meeting certain people in life that serve as manuscripts. Every person you meet has a piece of your own puzzle. Every person in your life that you meet has a piece of your life puzzle. When you meet that person, they're going to give you the ins and outs on how to complete that with that piece that they gave you. Whether it's a greeting, whether it's some type of knowledge, whether it's love, whether it's them letting you meet their family. It's certain things that you're going to get from certain people in life that serves as a completion for your life puzzle.
May I add on to that?
Yeah.
That sometimes it could be something that reveals a weakness in you.
Yes.
Maybe you need to cultivate more patience.
Yeah.
And I come and get on your nerves.
Yeah. I agree, because there's people that in the world that I've met, they grounded me on so many levels, man. Shout out to my brother. Shout out to many brothers. I can't even. There's so many brothers that I could thank right now.
Yeah, thank you for everybody who
brother Pyron
contributed to this.
Brother DG, brother Steve, Hilaire, my father, all my uncles, all my OGs out there, all my cousin Anderson Lee. He's 92 years old, by the way. He's my OG right there. Shout out to everybody that grounded me, man, because I meet certain people they serve as mirrors too.
Indeed.
They're mirrors for me.
Brother, you lost 2 siblings to the streets. How did you deal with that? Are you okay?
Yeah.
Let's talk about it.
So obviously, and it's funny because I lost 2 siblings. Like, the 2 siblings that I lost is from my mom's side and my dad's side. My father and my mom wasn't married. My father had 3 boys. I come from a family of all men, by the way. Like, my father, my grandfather had 10 boys. No girls. Like, he just created men, all men. Shout out to the Sheppard side of the family. Shout out to the Harris side of my family. The Goods and the Harris, that's my mom's side. My mom had 5 kids, so she had 3 girls, 2 boys. I was the middle child on both sides, though.
That's what I have, 3 girls, 2 boys.
Yeah. So my mom, my older sister Kia, my sister who passed away, Rez, me, my sister Essence, and my little brother E-Man. And on my father's side, my oldest brother who passed, me, and my little brother Sabor. So I lost 2 siblings to the environments that we were dealt. My brother, he was older. He's my oldest brother. He was in the streets. You know what I mean? He was around. He was in it. You know, he had 2 kids. He left 2 kids behind, who I love dearly. My nephew Brian and my niece Imani. He was in the streets, got murdered. I got a call that day from my dad, and he was like, "Yo, man, like, you good right now?" He's like, "I need you to sit down, 'cause I got something to tell you." And he told me, he's like, "Yo, your brother got murdered this morning." I was like, wow. That was the first time I ever felt that before. I didn't know how to feel at that time because I'm like, yo, this is new. This is a new feeling. But me knowing how patterns work, man, I mean, it's crazy that I'm saying this right now, but I knew that if someone on my mom's side didn't get it right, it would be one of my sisters it would be my sister who passed because she was already introduced into drugs and stuff early. And my sister got really deep into it. So my brother passed away 2014, and then 3 years later, my sister passed away 2017. And she died by suicide. You know what I mean? And she developed schizophrenia and stuff like that. So it overtook her. But the reason why it means a lot to me is because it all had to do with the environment of being from the hood. Right? Being in the inner city, those are the things that millions of people deal with, not just me. I'm just one person on the spectrum. I'm just one person. I'm a microcosm of what this whole thing entails, bro. Everybody go through this, probably more. You know what I mean? I lost 2 siblings to the streets. Yes, I did. But people lost 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 siblings to the streets. I lost a lot of friends to the streets too, on top of siblings who were like my brothers. So my mom and my dad, that's one of the reasons why I had to find it within myself to give them grace, because they're still dealing with things like that now. They're still dealing with it now. I know they are. And in doing that, I couldn't tell my brothers and sisters how to be positive and all that stuff back then. But now I'm telling my brothers and sisters who I see today every day to be positive. I always say I couldn't tell my brothers and sisters, so I'm telling my brothers and sisters.
Why couldn't you tell them?
Because I didn't find my voice. My voice, I had it within myself, but I didn't know how to verbalize it. I didn't know how to convey or disseminate the proper messages to them at the times. I didn't know how to do it. I knew it was in me, but you got to think about it. In those time frames, I was all football and sports. My way of expressing was through physical, moving, running fast, exerting energy in the gym every day. That was my way of speaking and showing them, like, I'm doing this. I want y'all to know that I'm positive, and I want y'all to see that I'm doing this. But when they passed away, slowly but surely, I walked into my role of being that positive role model for others. It took for them to kind of transition for me to understand it, but I know they're proud of me.
Indeed. Of course. We're all proud of you, my brother. Mm-hmm. We're all, the whole village, the whole community. And I dare speak for the universe, bro.
Thank you.
Positive, strong force that you express and manifest, bruh, we need you.
Thank you, brother.
Keep on keeping on. You hear me?
Appreciate that.
I want you to look at, I have 3 questions, and I want you to look directly at the people for this one. You and I come from the bottom.
Yes, sir.
We come from the hood. So many of our brothers and sisters are there, and they feel trapped. My book is called The Power of Choice. You Are Not Stuck. And so for those who feel stuck in the hood, what message do you have for them?
People that's stuck in the hood, listen to me, man. You have the willpower to do anything you set your mind to. I don't care how late in the game it is. If you out there slinging, if you out there selling, if you out there doing all these things right now, and you want out, it ain't too late to get out. Because in the words of Wallow, right? Wallow 267, it costs too much to be a criminal, right? That's true. It has some validity to it. So take it upon yourself to say, I own everything within myself and my life. Every step that I take, I own that. Every hand that I shake, I own that. Every move that I make, I own that. Every word that I speak, I own that. If you can take full ownership and claim autonomy over yourself, you can literally take yourself out of there. There's a way out. Look at me, for example. Use me as a reference point. I made it out. You can too. Don't think because you're there that you're supposed to stay there. Don't think that if your parents there, you're supposed to stay there. Because a lot of us deal with the guilt of leaving. That's something that I dealt with when I was in college. I had survivor's guilt.
Me too. It's in my book.
I had survivor's guilt. Survivor's guilt is real. When you make it out of a situation and then the rest of your loved ones can't make it out, you feel as though you have to go get them or you have to go be by them again. And when you do that, you set yourself back. You're going against what the Most High has ordained for you to do. You were made to get up out of there for them to get inspired to get up out of there. You are the instrument that's going to play for them to say, yo, he's doing that. I want to play that too. You have to do that. And you cannot care about the opinions of others. You cannot get sidetracked by the distractions because all it is what we live in is meant to distract you. It's meant to knock you off your square, you know? So what you got to do is you got to take it upon yourself to not care about what anybody says on your journey.
I want to make a change, but I just lack the motivation.
Mm-hmm.
How would you remedy that for people who are struggling with motivation? So they have the desire, but they say they don't have the motivation.
I don't have motivation every day. But something that I do have is willpower and discipline. First and foremost, discipline. If you know what you're supposed to do, no motivation, even if you don't have it, overpowers that. Nothing. If you know, have the knowledge that you know your assignment, your discipline kicks in. Saying no a lot. Saying no a lot to certain things is very powerful. Say no to the drinking. Say no to the smoking weed. Say no to any type of drugs. Say no to these things. Say no to the overstimulation of women and men and dating and just anything that you know that can set you back. To your greatness, say no to it. Listen to the inner voice. Your intuition is your inner teachings, right? We go to school, right? And what do we get, right? It's tuition, right? Your school's tuition.
You got to pay for it.
You got to pay for your school's tuition. Your tuition is your teachings. So your intuition, your inner teachings tells you all the time, yo, man, don't do that. You get that little nudge in your gut, like, I don't want to do that. You go ahead and do it anyway, and now you paying tenfold for it. Now you kicking yourself in the behind because you did that. Instead of saying, nah, I ain't going to do that. That don't serve me well. I'm not doing that. I don't care what they think about me. I don't care if they tell me I'm a punk or I'm this, I'm that, I'm corny. Don't care about that. Because what's going to happen is you're going to be thanked by the universe for listening to it down the line when you be successful.
What's the key to success?
Self-fulfillment. Self-fulfillment is everything. If you're confident and you love yourself and you're fulfilled by your own existence, that's success. Everything else after that is extra.
Love that. 2 more questions for you.
Mm-hmm.
Before we get there, how can they find you? How can they learn more about the Speedy Tribe?
Oh, man, listen, you can follow me on all platforms, the Speedy Tribe, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Yeah, that's how you can find me, man. And we going to keep on putting out this positive content. We're going to keep doing what we got to do in the world, man. And that's what it's all about, the Speedy Tribe.
150 years from now, reflecting on your life and legacy, what would you like to be remembered for?
My unforgettable energy. I want to be remembered for my unforgettable energy that I exuded out in the world. You, as a person, are a source. You are currency. You are that. If you understand how to move it, if you understand how to do that, the world will never forget you. Look at people like Mike, MJ, Michael Jackson, Michael Jordan too. Look at those brothers. The energy that they carried was unforgettable. To the point people was fainting. You see it? Fainting when they see him in person. They're breaking down. When you see your favorite celebrity they have an energy that's like, wow. That energy is strong right there. I don't know what it is, but that energy is strong. The words, the things that I stand for, the words that I speak, I want to be remembered for the energy and the words that I speak and how positive and how good my heart was.
I always say the language of the universe is energy, frequency, and vibration.
Yes, sir.
And it is our responsibility and duty to speak those things in a supreme way.
Mm,
And if you don't know how to speak it in a supreme way, at the very least, channel your energy, frequency, and vibration towards positivity.
sir.
That's it. Final question. You're a life coach and you coach athletes, so you know something about performance.
Yes.
And you are a top tier athlete yourself.
Yeah.
And a top tier performer yourself.
Yes.
Right? What is it about your mindset? Is it the philosophy? What is it about your mindsets that makes you a top tier performer in all areas? And what do you teach? And I know you teach them a lot, but what do you teach others in terms of mindset?
Well, for me, I always tell people my source of power toward my fitness and my athleticism was my struggle. There's reasons why people have an incredibly strong passion for something. I had a passion for getting better and working out and trying to get better at my craft because I knew that it might be a time where I ain't gonna be able to eat tomorrow. I used what was given to me in my life and put it towards my craft. And that's the why. The why. There's a reason to it. There's a reason to my hard work and dedication toward my craft and my performance and me trying to be great and me always chasing greatness. I'm always trying to do that because I'm hungry. I need to get that because I don't want to struggle. I don't want to stay in this survival mode. I don't want to stay in that. And that is unhealthy. I'm unhealthy. I'm thinking everybody out to get me. It's toxicity in that. There's no growth. There's no peace. It's always war. It's all those type of things in that. So I always tell people, my kids especially, the kids that I coach and teach, listen, you see where all the people that's successful, they did, right? Put the extra time. They put the extra work. They didn't care what time it was. They didn't care what their parents said. They didn't care what their friends said. Well, y'all going out to drink tonight? I ain't going over there. I'm going to the gym. Oh, you telling me not to do that? I'm doing it. Because my why is bigger than all of this right now. My why is bigger than all of this. So my why may be because my mom is a drug addict. My why may be because my mom can't afford certain things for me. I tell them, use your circumstances. A lot of these inner city kids go through crazy stuff, worse than me. I tell them, I bring them to the side. Hey, man, I see. I acknowledge that first. You got to acknowledge that with them. I understand the circumstance. What I want you to do is don't match that. Counter it. Don't become that. I want you to look at it and use it and flip it. And use it as positive, forward-moving energy towards what you love to do. Be it football, be it track and field, be it basketball, whatever it is, working something, taking pictures, whatever. Use that and continue until you leave this earth. Use it. You have to use your tools. Trauma is a tool. Problems that you get in life are tools that you have to build with to build yourself.
Indeed. Don't allow the circumstance to stop you. Use it as fuel to propel you.
That's right.
Now, you mentioned why, which is a word that starts with a W.
Mm.
And the teaching that I got from you is about the 2 L's.
Yeah. 2 L's, 2 W's, right? Well, 2 L's equals a W, actually. So if you lose in life, you'll learn your lesson, right? If you lose in life, you'll learn your lesson. You put those together as one big W. So are you really losing? All you doing is winning at the end of the day.
So you're saying for those who are not watching, one L is, and the other L form a W.
Yes, sir.
So the lesson and the loss
equals that win.
Equals that W.
Equals that win.
Wow.
That's exactly what it means, bro. And the thing is, everybody gets so caught up on that loss, and that's it. A lot of people in life get caught up on a loss, that they never get this, which is the lesson. Because if you do happen to get the lesson, it'll complete that W. And now you're a winner. People don't understand that. It's very simple.
Takes both.
The minute you lose is the minute you got to learn. A lot of people losing, but they never go through with the lesson to learn. They never try to get that because they don't want to be accountable. They don't want to say I'm wrong. They don't want to look themselves in the mirror. I just had a conversation with my cousin like the other day. We was talking about looking yourself in the mirror is very important. Self-realization equals self-actualization. If you can realize yourself, you can actualize yourself. And that's how it go.
If you know anyone that needs motivation, anyone that's feeling stuck in life, anyone that is in need for inspiration, or maybe just coming up with a whole bunch of excuses of why they're not winning in life, you need to send them this episode. Tell a friend to tell a friend, subscribe and share. Stay tuned. Peace.
Peace, my brother. Yes, sir.